Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I did something a little different. Some people don't know, but we've been putting up for a while off and on little bits of training clips up on Instagram, which Brittany runs my Instagram. A lot of people think they're talking to me there. They're usually not. Sorry, Brittany runs it for me because I don't like messing with apps and stuff on Instagram and all that. I don't like the app. She loves Instagram. She runs it for me. I occasionally answer some of the questions, but she kind of photographs that and decides what she wants to put up, and I just let her manage it, and it's fun for her, and she enjoys it. I went ahead and threw together some clips from just this weekend that I put in this video, and I'm going to discuss with you guys my training a little bit. Alright, so let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And yeah, I don't put up a lot of training these days. Some people who follow my story know why. I mean, you guys do realize I have stalkers, and it's not little play, joking, stalking. People get seriously harassed for even knowing me. Businesses get harassed for knowing me. People mail fake bombs and all sorts of crap to me. They harass businesses that I frequent. Different businesses that I frequent or do business with, some are okay with me filming in their places and others aren't. So I really try not to call a lot of businesses out. And I obviously train at several different gyms. I train at least 5 different gyms regularly, meaning I swing through them at least once every 2 weeks. Because when Brittany and I are doing different things and we're out and about, we have different rotations and stuff, and we have different gyms we know that we can hit and do stuff in. Some of my gyms have platforms, bumper plates, things like that. Some of them don't. Some allow filming, some don't. And obviously there are gyms to where I go into to where doing anything with my overhead pressing, because everything I do is standing other than chin-ups, can be a little bit of a hassle to do, and so that affects my training in general. But usually speaking, when I go to the gym, for people who are wondering what I do these days, I do a lot of triples. I do accumulation work. Sometimes I do 3x3s, 5 sets of 3s, things like that. I have other phases to where I do a lot of accumulation work, even at 60 to 70% max, and I'll do anywhere from 5 to 10 sets of 3. I train full body pretty much 3 to 5 times a week, depending on what's going on there. The only exercises I only do about 7 different exercises, and almost all of them are variations or carryovers to the other, because the only lifts I really care about these days are my deadlift and my clean and push press. And pretty much I think those are the most important performance builders. I think everything else, when you're just trying to be older and athletic, getting up into middle age, I'm not competing in powerlifting or anything anymore, so I care about just being strong, fast, athletic, fit. So I tend to do a lot of cardio, and I do a lot of explosive training, and everything is standing or body weight stuff. So I only care about the deadlift and the clean and push press, but I do other variations to prevent certain overuse injuries, connective tissue inflammation, things like that. Because when you're training full body with moderately heavy weights all the time, and I don't take true light days, because even my lighter days, I'm doing a lot of volume. So even if I'm only deadlifting 405, I might do 10 sets with it. So for me, to avoid things like lower back problems, I rotate through lifts. Yeah, I conventional deadlift a lot, but I started trap bar deadlifting. Some days I deficit deadlift. I change up the variations depending upon how my lower back is doing in terms of fatigue, DOMS, things like that. And that's important because I do a lot of cleaning. So you guys will see in the clip, I do 2 different types of deadlifts, and all these clips are from Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So there's actually less than 48 hours between the 3 workouts, because again, we work in workouts kind of around our life schedules. And so yeah, Friday night we hit a gym, and I did just overhead work because it wasn't a gym with a platform. And we grabbed 1 or 2 little clips of that, and I did my behind the neck push presses, and that'll give you guys an idea of a workout. If I go to a gym that doesn't have a platform, or one's not available, or bumper plates, I do purely overhead work. I do either clean and press and push press, either a front push press, or I do behind the neck push presses, and maybe I do a hang clean to a dumbbell strict press. So those are my 3 overhead movements, and I do those for the same reason, to totally build and stabilize my entire shoulder girdle, chest region. Everything else I use different variations of the overhead press, and because I overhead press every single workout, which means as many as 5 times a week, I do have to worry about little nagging overuse areas, DOMS, things like that. And so the different variations help me avoid that. In other words, the front presses, I tend to get a little sore through here. I develop soreness in my forearms and even the bones. And so I need to rotate to other exercises sometimes. So I'll tend to do things like the behind the neck push press. But behind the neck push press tends to leave my triceps down through here, particularly the medial head, gets really sore sometimes when I do those with any amount of volume. And so again, I don't really try to do those 2 days back to back. And if everything's a little bit sore or I'm feeling a little fatigued and I want to get extra sessions in, I just do dumbbell presses. And I didn't get any of those on video, but I just do hang cleans with those. That's the only thing I don't do off the floor, because all my other lifts are done from the floor. I clean everything up, and the cleans are there just for my general explosiveness and as a deadlift accessory. Because any sort of power clean, doesn't matter whether it's a power clean, a full clean, anything else, carries over to your deadlift. It's one of the best accessory movements for your deadlift. And I don't really train that heavy on everything. As you guys will notice in the clips, nothing is really that heavy. I'm not struggling that hard on anything. And I mean, people are like, well, we know we've seen you lift heavier. We've seen you trap bar deadlift 600 pounds before. We've watched you do 7 reps with 500 pounds on the beltless deadlift. Yeah, and I don't necessarily train that way all the time. It's just not necessary, particularly the deadlift. Your different variations, doing enough volume, enough perfect reps, you'll get stronger on the deadlift, and things like your rows, your cleans, things like that actually strengthen the deadlift also. A lot of those exercises. So the exercises I do are conventional beltless deadlifts, deficit deadlifts, trap bar deadlifts. All right. As far as back work goes, I do chin-ups. I do a lot of chin-ups at home. I do pin leg rows. All right. So again, you guys are kind of detecting a pattern there. Everything is off the floor. Everything is explosive lifts. My 3 types of overhead pressing are my other lifts. I do a clean and push press. I do clean and then behind the neck presses, and I do those with a much wider grip because I do a really close grip for the push press. And then I do hang clean to dumbbell presses. And I do dumbbell presses with the hands pronated, again, to avoid damaging my shoulders. And that's pretty much the exercises I do. And I do, again, everything from building to peak sets to 3x3s to accumulation work in different phases. And that's pretty much how I train these days. So for people who are kind of wanting to just kind of see some examples in the gym of what I do, these are just normal workouts. Everything done in this was done inside of 48 hours. These are just normal workouts. It's just daily predictable strength. Everything is probably RPE 7 or 8. Nothing is taken to the limit. It's just repetitive, just training. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.